Okay, folks, good evening. Friday night edition of painting some stuff. Figuratively speaking, painting and other antics. Welcome, welcome. Been a long week with no painting, and it's going to turn into a long weekend also with no painting. We have a little bit of a little light here that got added to the show, so maybe have a little bit more resolution. It was one of those little circle lights that my wife had gotten me supposedly for Christmas, and then she lost track of it and didn't know where it went. So she found it, and we added that on to all the stuff we got going on. Unfortunately, it's a USB connection, which means that in order to run that, I'm going to lose control of the mouse. So we got to use a little pad here, but we don't do that very much. So because otherwise, without it, it's a little darker. Maybe it doesn't really make much of a difference. I'll run this way for a little while. If it gets too much of a hassle to to have it without the mouse, we'll change back. So we got, last time we left off, we painted some Byzantines, but we're not going to get into them because we got a convention coming up where there's a collision course event, and I'd like to get a baggage done for them. So we've got these 4 little horses, and I do mean little. They're on the small side, and that's what we're going to attempt to paint between now and next week, to be able to get a little 40 by 40 stand for baggage that we can use for other elements. And is the science experiment working here? No, this thing's pretty dry. So I'm gonna have to add water to this, and I'll be right back. It literally makes no difference whether or not I start on the Byzantines now, because I'm not going to use them for a while. But it does make a difference if I get this baggage done, because then I don't have to use a little cardboard counter that says baggage at one of the events. And I got to get it done for Historicon as well. We'll be running it. One of the events will be a collision course there, so I got to do this anyways. This is well overdue. Now, these are, I have no idea who the manufacturer of these were until I found out the other day. They're actually chariot horses, and or Magister Militum, or whoever they're called now, and they're very small. They're almost 10 millimeter. For whatever reason, they're really small pack horses, mules, something like that. They just look like horses. They don't necessarily look like anything else. So we're going to paint these up, and this shouldn't take long, but you know, we're not going to, if you watch any of my videos, I'm not going to paint them haphazardly. We're still going to give them the respect they deserve, even though they're relatively small. So let's get our let's get this in the correct direction here. And I don't know how long I'm going to paint today, but we'll see. It all depends on, oh, now that I got a little light, I can just go, hey, what are these? Oh, that's handy. I can turn it over here and look at my colors. Perfect. All right, we're going to do Flat Earth is the first horse we're going to do. Flat Earth. And Mr. Black, we're going to need Mr. Black here, and Mrs. White also. Okay. My colors are not gender neutral. Mr. Black and Mrs. White. All right. Going to be going out of town over the weekend, so there won't be any painting tomorrow morning or Sunday morning. Sorry. Just one of them things. All right, now I got my brushes all the way over in the middle of nowhere. Let's take this off. Hopefully you guys have seen the video that we did last Monday. I hope so, because I lost sleep over it. Literally, my schedule is completely messed up because of it. Tuesday, I was too exhausted to do a damn thing and never got up the energy to paint all week. So it was really annoying that the one time that I have to go to work the next day early is the day that the freaking video is almost 6 hours. Well, it was longer than 6 hours. The problem is a little bit here, a little bit there, it got cut out. So hopefully you guys will watch it, and we didn't waste our time. Now, we're going to play it anyways. We just brought you guys along for the show. All right, who's here? Is that Joe? It is. Just keep mitching those hippos away. That's right. Hungry, hungry hippos. It's not just hippos, it's hippo women. Mitch and the hippo women. So this is going to be kind of a generic baggage. And I mean by that is there's some urns that are here. I'm actually looking forward to painting them. They're going to be all terracotta-ish. But there's also, one of these has a Roman shield. And not only is it any Roman shield, but it's like an auxiliary shield from like the 1st century. Well, tough. That's going to be in... I want 4 horses on this little 40 by 40 stand because these are very small. They're like miniature horses. I don't know why they decided to make them this size, but I had them. I have no idea how I got them. Probably some grab bag from many years ago with a flea market at Historicon. I hope there's some good flea market stuff at Historicon. Stuff that's not available in stores. Which, you know, these figures are not available in stores. You got to mail order them, and I want to say they come from Australia. I could be wrong. Chariot Miniatures now in Australia? I don't know. You got to mail order them, though. I'm not a huge fan of Chariot Miniatures. But with that said, definitely on the opposite end of some museums. The newer museums are scaled okay, but the older ones are all over the place. You got some really small guys. You got some guys that eat a ton of porridge. And when they stand on the stand, they consume most of the space on there. So it's a mixed bag. I went to we're going to be leaving real early, so I went by a drive-through to get some coffee in the morning because we're going to leave super early. Because if you don't leave super early, the traffic on the highway is just stupid. People just misbehave. And maybe it's going to be a slow night tonight. But first drive-through I went to had closed at 11. Starbucks had closed at 11, so then I had to go up to another one, and you couldn't order ahead. So it was like, you know, I left work early. Well, everybody left work early. Early meaning about an hour early. Nothing too exciting. But yeah, I didn't think a lot of places were closed on Good Friday, but that was never the case before. I say if you're closed on Good Friday, Not allowed to eat any meat. You can't be closed and eat meat, right? Oh man. Otherwise you don't get the day off. Isn't that how it works? It makes sense to me. It's like getting a Hanukkah gift and you're not circumcised. Doesn't work that way. You gotta follow. You gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow the rules. There's give and take. Oh man. Joe, I don't know if you're the one person that's on. You coming to Historicon this year? Hope you are. Can't remember what you told me. Hope they play their cards right. They always keep holding it at that place because that place they have it at now is nice. Well, the place they had it at in 2019 is nice. I think it may have been somewhere different last year. I have no idea. Man, this brush is all over the place. Aha. What say you? Yes. Okay. Excellent. See you there unless we don't go. And you know what will trigger us not going. So far so good. Just put the finishing touches on the schedule that we're going to run just this evening. And I'd tell you what that is. I'll be happy to tell you. I'll give you a call or whatever and tell you. I don't want to post it. I don't want to make a video about it. That is just like, I don't believe that it's bad luck or anything. It is just annoying. It's unbelievably annoying when, you say, hey, we're going to do A, B, C, and D, and then you can't because of situations that are out of your control, and then you feel like you have to owe people an explanation of why you didn't do it. And I'm getting tired thinking about it. So that's the only reason I'm not going to. Because I'm not a person that likes to say, hey, I'm going to do A, B, C, or D, and then the next thing you know, I'm not there. Well, something else didn't play by the rules and didn't do their part, so. All right, we need a smaller brush because this thing's out of control now. Certainly. I had them separated here off to the side. I just decided to lump them all together because I needed to clean this area up. That's the one. So in typical fashion, we're going to finish painting this completely before we move on to the next horse. And normally I would just put 3 horses on here like I did the camels. Man, they're so darn small. It's going to look mostly barren. I don't have a horse holding dude to bring along with them. So yeah, no painting tomorrow morning, no painting on Sunday. Monday we should be gaming, but more than likely there will be no filming. I think there's just going to be too many damn people. And I'm not going to have another one of those days where, I mean, shit, I was there till 1:30. 1:30 in the morning. I didn't get home till almost 2. I had a shower. That's just extreme. That's just unnecessary. Randy Collins. Good evening. What am I working on? I'm working on a baggage element. I don't have a baggage element. Well, I do. I have my desert one. But I'm like, I'm not going to get the Byzantine started yet. I'm not going to be able to use them at Recon. I need a baggage element for collision course at Recon. So let's get these tiny little horses painted. And these are really small horses. Really, really small horses. To put it into perspective. Here's my Byzantine spearman and this tiny little horse. I don't know why they decided to make them so small. I mean, chariot stuff tends to be small anyways, but... Okay. Just what we need, yarning. Well, too much of that and we'll cut the feet off. Randy, let us know if you're ever in... it's Chariot. It's a Chariot brand horse. Their stuff is small, but... Or as they call them now, Magister Militum. Let us know if you're ever in the neighborhood, Randy, and you want to join us for one of our game nights. We'll be happy to have you over. Well, hold on. Let's meet you first. You might be, you might be somebody we won't want to have over. I want to hedge all my bets, You never know. Ooh, I like this for the terracotta. We actually had somebody that was, I don't want to say we were from Michigan, and they came by. You've never painted any chariot. I don't think I have either. And they've been around a long time. And don't ask me how long, but they've been around a long time. And they're definitely old school figures. We had one guy that was in the area and he contacted us about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, and said, hey, I'll be in Florida. Can I come by and game? I'm like, sure. You're going to get filmed. Sure enough. He was a hell of a guy. I think he had a good time. I said, well, just let us know when you're in the area again. Make a guest appearance. I hope this isn't too orange. Well, we'll find out in a moment. It's nothing for me to repaint something. These little terracotta urns. Wine, no doubt. Uh-oh. It's always a good idea to meet before inviting. That said, I'm pretty normal. Are you normal, or are you gamer normal? Hey, as long as you have a good attitude and don't smell, I'm good. You don't have to win a popularity contest. Good thing, because then I wouldn't be able to show up. So like I said earlier, Randy, no painting tomorrow morning, no painting no painting on Sunday morning. We're going to St. Pete Beach for the weekend. So, time to worship the sun god. My skin can certainly use it. This will be the first sun god worshiping trip all year. You just step outside where you're at. Done. We gotta drive a ways. So I figured this is a small project that I can get finished before recon and then use it at recon and beyond. And then you don't have to worry about touching the leg of the little camel. The little camel isn't appropriate anyways. It's not a, if you don't use a desert army, it's not really appropriate. Maybe a little bit more orange than I wanted to. I'll be fine. You're on A1A at the beach. Well, there you go. Can't get much closer than that. Unless you're a fish. I would love to live that close to the beach. However, when a hurricane comes, I don't worry about it. You're actually not in a bad place either. It doesn't stick around there long. I don't think you're a lifer from Florida. So you may not know that. But that's actually, that coast is a lot better. If it hits, it just gets clipped. It doesn't generally come in there, but worst thing about a hurricane is how people act like total idiots and behave like there's a civil war going on when they're in the store before the storm gets here. No, I think the orange color is just fine. Just needed to highlight it. Okay, we're good here. We're going to grab a little bit of Mrs. White. Tiny little bit. Maybe a little bit more than that. You do need to have some contrast. Unfortunately, I only have one of these with urns. I think all four horses are the same, so that's kind of cool. I mean, all four horses are different. Cute. All right, and there's some kind of a basket or something like that. So we're going to paint it light colored like a basket. A trisket, a trasket, a stupid frickin' basket. End up in a casket. I don't know. I don't know what the words are to it. That one just as good as anything else. I'm not a singer. I'm just in that mood. All right, we need to go a little lighter than this. You're from Detroit. Oh, lived almost 20 years in Northern Virginia, just outside D.C., when snow was forecast. That people went in a panic mode. Yeah, I like D.C. to visit and then come back to Florida. Crazy gridlock. This is Buff. Le Bouffe. You watch those games from Monday night? Like I said, man, that killed me. That killed me staying up till 1:30 on a. I wouldn't stay up till 1:30. I didn't leave there till 1:30. I didn't get home till like almost 2, and then I'd take a shower. I'm surprised I didn't oversleep my alarm. But it took me all week to recover. We're good now. I think Tuesday I'm like, I'm going to bed at 9. And then Wednesday I went to bed at 9 too. I went to bed early last night also. You know, there's nothing worth staying up for, so you might as well go to bed. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. anyways. Tomorrow morning we'll get up at 5 and pack and leave. Last couple times we've traveled out of town in Florida, the daughter had something to do in the morning, so we didn't get out of town until about 1 or 12 o'clock. And the traffic is, we never leave at that time. We always leave like at before daylight. And then every time we don't leave before daylight, we remember why we leave before daylight. Because the traffic is just stupid. It's, just people doing dumbass shit and trucks, and so now we're gonna leave. We're leaving super early. Should be down there before 10 o'clock in the morning and be nice and calm. I don't know what the hell this is, but we're going to paint this the same color. Ask the sculptor, hey, what exactly is this, pal? I watched 4 of the 5. I'll finish the 5th tonight. St. Pete is nice. I've been there multiple. It takes so long to get from one place to the other. It's just traffic light hell. It is just traffic light hell, but yeah, we're going down there because the daughter and the wife. The daughter has spring break, and they're going to go on a tour of different college campuses. So they're starting in that area. I should be flying solo all next week, just like old times. So we'll see. I'll try not to get too excited or their plans will change. But should have plenty of chance to do some painting next week. Hopefully. All right, now we got to use smaller brush. Mystery metal. Yeah, some of these things you paint, you don't know what it is until you're done painting. Like, oh, that's where his sleeves end, or something like that. It's happened to me many, many a time. Many, many a time. So, when we're done painting this basket or whatever the hell this is, all we got left to do is like little reins on there and the tail, the hooves, and he's done. Move on to the next horse. So I figured I could knock out these 4 horses before recon. Got to set short-term goals. Well, certainly if I was going to paint tomorrow morning, but we don't have tomorrow morning to paint. Monday we're not going to paint, so we got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So yeah, I better make some progress. And if I don't get this guy done, I don't get him done. But it'd be nice to finally have a baggage element. Needed it for some of Connor's scenarios as well. You haven't seen the last one, okay? There were some cool scenarios. I would just hate to play. It's the first one. I don't want to play the first one ever again. And it's not because it was a. We're going to paint this like it's some kind of a basket weave on there. It just seems appropriate. It wasn't because it wasn't a bad scenario. I'm just like, man, I had to make some horrible decisions. I don't know. My brain's already fried by the time I get off work. So that was not something I was expecting to do. And that first battle just took forever. Oh, it just took forever. But it was a cool battle. Mystery metals, lumps on miniatures. You don't know what it's supposed to be. Been working on terrain for recon. I don't think my terrain made the trip from Virginia. Uh-oh. Got beat up, huh? Were you playing DBA or something up there in Virginia? They have some players over in that area, but they had a big DBA presence until the community split over the rules apocalypse for no good reason. Could have just played both rules, but. I was like the people that are up there, like, oh, I can't go to Historicon. 3 hours is too far to travel. Look, dumbass, we're traveling 14 and a half hours and not bitching about it. I'm just glad it's for the amount of time that it is, because if it was any less, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But let's lighten this up. I don't know that I'm going to want to make it anymore. Well, let's add a little bit here. Is that the first battle Mitch made, that double move with a light horse? I really didn't see that coming. Well, you got to have the pips for it. Mitch definitely had the pip gods were in his favor, especially the slave battle. That was absurd. That slave battle was absurd. If I ever have a chance to release slaves, not this guy. They're going to stay slaves. That was absurd. But that's one of the main reasons I film stuff like that, because I can tell people about those situations, and you just can't understand the odds of something like that happening, and then they happen. I remember I was playing this one game, and I never play this army. I was playing classical Indian, who have 3 elephants. The first 7 pips the first 7 bounds I got, ones, all of them. You know how hard it is to roll 7 ones in a row? I did it. You know, and it's the one time where it's elephants, so your whole army can't move. I mean, you know, you can move fringe guys, but then you can't bring everybody with them. So I was like, I'm not going to bring the fringe guys and not fight with the elephants. So I sat there and got surrounded and gang raped from all directions. You know, but that's one of those things that, you know, you never know what's going to happen when you're filming a game. When a game is being filmed, and not just because it's being filmed, it just then weird stuff happens. Really unlikely things happen all the time, and you know, it's just part of what makes the game special, I guess. So it keeps us coming back for more. All right. I may leave this just like that. Kind of like it. I got it. Maybe I'm just gonna add a little bit of white for some highlighting. I don't want to get crazy, but these little jugs are cute. All right. And the lighting's gonna suck looking at it. Yeah, it's washed out. That slave battle was painful. It was. What's that big round yellow circle on my palette? This thing? It's the rim of a paint thing. It's this thing. Has a little paint ring. That's all dried paint. Yeah, that's what it is. I didn't want to throw away and make a big old mess. Yeah. It was really stacked against me because the die rolls that I threw. You know, that was the one battle that you didn't need to roll a bunch of ones, and I rolled them. And not only did I roll them in a row. I'll have to watch it again, but I think that this time around I was already converting Mitch into talking more about what he's doing, but I think he kind of failed miserably that night. He didn't do a whole lot of talking like he normally does during the game, like he was doing. I don't mind. I'll give away my ideas. I don't give a shit. I think it's useful for people watching, and it's fun to do. It's fun to talk about, like, well, I'm going to do this, but I'm probably going to roll a 1 and then probably going to get screwed. And then when you roll a 1, you're like, see, I told me so. I don't care, you know. And those aren't getting scored anyways. I don't keep a record of wins and losses on those. They're not standard games. I kind of enjoy that. I think I'm personally going to go more towards that. I mean, I've played tons of tournament style games, and like a recon, that's all it's going to be. So I don't mind playing them. If there hadn't been so many scenarios released at once, I would just say, let's pick a scenario and play both sides a couple times. But I think it's probably more beneficial for people watching to see 4 different scenarios. So. Yeah, I just don't like the battles being one-sided. Not because you don't win, but just like one person's just dominating the play. Yeah, that talk during the game is invaluable. Believe it or not, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing a lot of it. And I don't care if I'm giving away what my plan is. I don't have a plan. I just kind of wing it. I have to plan every day for work, and everything goes sideways. So I'm not particularly interested in doing planning and when I'm playing a game. Doesn't mean I'm playing like an idiot. I'm just not trying to, okay, I'm going to move this so that 2 turns from now, I'll be here and I'll be able to. I don't do that crap. That's for chess players. I'm no chess player. I'm a painter. Let's take some of this. My brain's not programmed for a chess player. Okay, and now we need to do some hoofage, and we're done with this guy. Yeah, the talk during game's a lot of fun to do. Well, see, here's the thing. You either stay quiet, and then there's these really long pauses that you feel obliged to edit out, which I frankly don't have time to do. Or you fill it up with chatter that might be valuable for somebody watching. So there you go. Fill it up with chatter that might interest somebody. Maybe. On the off chance. I'm a painter. Absolutely don't care if I win or lose. Getting painted miniatures on the table, really all that matters. And having a good time. Because you don't want to lose, and you lose to some guy who's a butthole. Now, I think our group in Florida, and I don't mean just our group, like the people that show up at cons, you're not going to have a problem with that. Everybody's pretty cool. So I got next week to get the little awards done. I don't know if you've ever seen the awards. They're just they're little plaques. Let's see. See if I can get some light on it. There you go. Hey, so light has lots of uses. Let's get this out of the way. So they're just little plaques. There's nothing to them. It's just a little photograph that I do with PowerPoint, and it has the name of the event, a picture of it, whatever, and it has a little dollar store frame or whatever. It's just something you can put on your wall and goes, hey, I had a good time with some folks there. That's it. I actually had a picture of one of them, and somebody wanted to be smart, and I'm like, oh, that's like your ego wall. I'm like, no, it's not. It just reminded me that I had a good time painting this. That's just rolling dice. Anybody can roll dice. If I want awards, I want awards from painting, and I don't need awards from painting. I just have to be happy with how it turns out for me. But ego wall, come on, man. Maybe you, maybe somebody else. Somebody with a bunch of like bowling trophies or something like that. Probably that's probably what they say. Say, hey, it's your ego wall. it's just nice. Oh, I remember that event. I played with so and so in the final game, and I used such and such army that I just painted for that event. That's it. That's all it's for. It doesn't cost you nothing to enter a tournament. It's just something I enjoy making those little plaques. Some of them take a little bit longer to do than others. And find some clip art, put it on PowerPoint, send it to Walgreens, print it out, done. Okay. That horsey is done. Carrying the urns. Everyone I've met here is pretty cool, not so much in Nova. I don't know what that is. Everyone is a stressed out type A. Type A. He's a type A. He's an asshole. Nova. I don't know what Nova is. Okay. Nova University? I doubt that's what that is. No, we're doing the Roman shield one last. Okay. This has got some kind of sacks on it. And this has packs. All right, let's do the sacks. The sacks are being light colored, so let's do a dark color horse. Let's do a dark color horse. Let's do the SS Camo Black. A Type A. Northern Virginia. Nova, a big gaming tournament convention, Northern Virginia. Excellent. Mike B, welcome. How did you comment, but I only have one viewer? Interesting. Okay. I don't care how you got here. Welcome. Northern Virginia. Nova's where all the liberals go to flip VA blue. Oh, man. Didn't it flip back recently? Mr. Mike, welcome. I'm offended. What if I was a liberal? Okay, so I don't care. I don't care about people's politics. Just don't be a butthole. What did I do with the Camel Black? I put it there. I obviously was El Cheapo and didn't put enough of it down. What's wrong with me? You laugh, it's true. What I never understood was, and Mitch is the same way, I never grew up gaming, historical gaming, with anybody who was on the left side of things. I just never did. It's cool to do. I mean, I'm not a warmonger or anything. I mean, I think war is stupid, but the way I explain it is kind of like, it's like a horror movie, I'm not into horror movies, but people that aren't sadists that want to see pretty girls murdered. I hope not. It's just a fascination with it, and that's how I think about it, I don't want to see wars, and as a matter of fact, the current one going on, I'm not even watching. I don't want to know anything about what's going on in it. I don't want to know anything about what's supposedly going on in it. Let's put it that way. Dayton, Ohio. So I had a guy that I game with that was from Ohio. I've been to Ohio one time because our main plant is up there in Ohio. I have no problem with Ohio. I thought it was pretty, instead of having palm trees everywhere, you guys have those cute little Christmas trees. So, I like those too. Anyways, he was from Ohio. I forget where he was from. And he was studying here at University of Florida. And he said he hated Ohio because there was no pretty girls there. And I'm like, bullshit. It's not like it's, Greenland or somewhere, if you're into women from Greenland, I guess, you don't care about others' politics either. Just don't be an asshole. That's right. And bathe. And use deodorant. And use deodorant. And use deodorant. Yeah. I'm more and more agnostic every day when it comes to politics. They did it to themselves. They brought it upon themselves, I'm many things, but I'm not a very good liar, and I don't think much of people that do that. So it's kind of automatically gets off on the wrong foot when it comes to stuff like that, anyways. So. All right. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. Oh no, we have loads of farm fresh Midwest girls. Your accents aren't too bad there. I get this one company that calls on me from Minnesota, and I can't stand. No. It was from Wisconsin. The Wisconsin female accent, I just can't stand it. I think that, I think that would sterilize me. You're laughing about the very true unwashed mashes in gaming. Perhaps more of a 40K thing. I don't know. I can't say about the 40K. I've never played it, but they make deodorant everybody's size. It's not like, well, they didn't have my size in deodorant. This one guy I used to play with frequently at conventions. He's a super smart guy, and this long day at convention, it was like a 4-day convention, and this guy already smelled of BO on day one. It was like the morning of the first day. I'm like, I don't care what kind of a PhD smarty pants guy you are. Yeah, your IQ's double mine. I don't care, dude. You didn't put on deodorant. You're like a freaking dumbass. Need to be a human first. Gamer second. So. Should have called him out. Should have embarrassed the shit out of him, but I didn't. You don't have to be cool. Just, be civilized. Ohio is a good-looking state. Really, all of America is so nice. I wouldn't want to live in a really big city. I don't want to live in the sticks either, but I'm a big fan of suburbs. That's what I'm used to. And this town I live in is twice as big as it was when we got here, but I like this town. It's just a lot bluer than I would like it to be. Lots of old hippies here. My nemesis, old hippies. Yeah, we got a lot of people here that are lifers and are like, they have an old house and they have an old. It's okay to have old stuff, but it's not okay when you're jealous of other people and don't want to like create opportunity for folks. You know, it's all right. You don't want to build a freaking coal plant here that gets the environment bad. I get it, but you know, what about clean industries or no, we don't want any businesses. Like, well, people do need to go to work and do stuff. So. Where am I getting off? Need to get this. So I would love to live somewhere more like where you're at, Randy. But that's not where the job is. We always enjoy when we go over to St. Augustine. Except we went there one time and it was raining, and that's got pretty dreary. But that's a happy place that we go to. We used to go to it more frequently than we do now, but that's a good place. That'd be more in line with us than a liberal college town, but we came here because Dad used to teach here for 4 years. I think 4 years is all he could handle, and he was tired of the nonsense. And Gainesville's nice. Visited a couple times. It's blue because of the campus. Yeah. No, it's good. Other than job opportunities, pay. I've been at the same place for almost 30 years, so that part's not really an issue for me. It's great for storms. You don't have to worry about and we're 2 hours. Within 2 hours we get to see a lot of different stuff. So missed a few episodes. Baggage for Poles. No, baggage in general. This is just baggage in general, and it probably could double as a camp for the Moldavians or something like that. So, you could have a camp that's 40 by 20. It can be as small as 40 by 20. It can be the same size as a camp follower. That's really small camp. Really small camp. That's like you're trying to I'm going to go hide over here. Skylab, there he is. Strange all the time. You lived in Florida and never got over to St. Augustine. Well, it's far from Sarasota. You were there in the, I think that's where you were at, Sarasota. And Sarasota's nice, but whenever you pull in there, you're the youngest guy there. Yeah, Sarasota's nice. I think the beaches over there on that Treasure Coast. Did I call it the Gold Coast? Treasure Coast. The beaches on the Treasure Coast I prefer. The sand is better and it's more calm. But there's just something about the Atlantic, that's just. I want to like the Atlantic more. I don't know. My people came that way. I guess. Well, we came the other way too, but I don't know. There's just something about the Atlantic, but I do like the Gulf better for going to the beach. It's more calm and water's clearer and crowded with tourists. Nice wife and I go to dinner there from time to time. Right, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, West Coast stomping ground. Yeah, they've cleaned up. They've tried to clean up Tampa a lot. Tampa used to be like a war zone. We don't go there often. They got a they got a great German place in Tampa. They have a great German place in Tampa. It looks just like out of a scene out of Das Boot or something like that. The inside of it looks really cool. So, I don't know if we're going to make it out there, but yeah, we're going to be up in St. Augustine not St. Augustine, St. Petersburg over the weekend. So, I need to find a way to talk us into going to the pier. They have a little Dracula wine bar, and I need to put that and superimpose that as a background with my Valachian figures or something like that. Do something corny like that. I know, I go in there with figures and they'll be like, what the hell is this all about? I don't know anything about Dracula. Well, you work at the frickin' place. It's named that. Jeez. But I'm not a wine drinker, so wine just makes me feel yucky. I like the taste of it, but it just makes me feel I don't do well with it. So this has got some kind of a tarp on it. I think I'm going to do a greenish type tarp, but not extremely green. Let's pull out Russian brown, I think is what this stuff's called. Yeah, Russian brown. Yeah, I bet there's one of these paint rings in here. Oh, no, there isn't. I cleaned it out recently. Yeah, there's one forming. I don't like using bold colors on things for things that are just trying to get by. Like, if somebody's carrying wares on a horse, they don't have time to spend a lot of time on creating an expensive cloth cover for it. So it's got to be like a faded ass color. It's not something that he's like, oh, I got to buy something really nice for my horse to carry shit. And this guy don't care. He just wants you to buy his stuff. Colorful cloths are expensive. Colorful cloths are expensive. These are some plain ass looking horses. I don't even know. I have no idea how we even got a hold of these. They must have been in some grab bag at a flea market. There's two bags on here. One of them is going to be grayish and one of them is going to be not so grayish. So the grayish one, let's use this color as a base. Every time I went to the Atlantic coast, I somehow found my way to the Kennedy Space Center. And I've lived, let's see, I'll be 51 soon. And I've spent 3 years not in Florida. And I've never been to the Kennedy Space Center. And really have no interest in going to the Kennedy Space Center. It's just not my thing. Maybe if they put guns on one of those things, I'll be interested in seeing it. But it just doesn't appeal to me. Actually, there was a show, our convention that's now in Orlando twice a year. They used to have one it used to be it's the same convention. They used to have one in Orlando, and then they used to have one in Cocoa Beach. So one time it was in Cocoa Beach, and it was a Friday Friday morning before I got to the convention, and there was a rocket launch, right? And I'm down A1A, maybe 4 miles from the curve there. So I'm probably maybe 10 miles from where the launch actually went off. It is the loudest thing I've ever heard. And I remember stepping out of the McDonald's. I'd gotten an iced coffee. They didn't have somewhere civilized like a Starbucks or something like that to get one. So I'd stepped out of McDonald's with my iced coffee. And there's too many people in the drive-thru or some reason like that. I don't know. So I step out the door, and I just remember seeing this rocket. And at the time, it was probably about an inch long from my view. That's how close enough. I don't know what rocket it would have been. This would have been probably around 2009, 2010. If you're a space cadet, you'll know what they were launching back then. But it's like I opened the door, and it's like the loudest freaking thing I've ever heard, ever. And I'm like, I thought for sure we were at war. I'm like, I remember thinking, oh shit, we're at war and Obama blew it. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I thought of. It's literally the loudest thing I've ever heard. So I can't imagine being even closer. I mean, it's cool, but so the first thing, I would never go to a rocket launch because living in Florida, I hear all the time about how when the shuttles were going off, and they just would cancel them. So I just can't imagine going down and camping out, and then there are going to be delays, and they're not going to go off. And if you get to see one, that's pretty cool. But if you don't, then I'd be pissed. It doesn't really work well with my personality type. I don't like the rug getting pulled out from under me. But I did get to see a launch. It was a space shuttle, and it was launched, and I was already in the air when it was going, and I was relatively close. That's pure luck and was super cool. I was above it. It was down lower. I'm trying to think where we must have been. We must have been flying. I think if it was for work. So what could it have been? It must have been out of Fort Lauderdale. It must have been Fort Lauderdale or Miami, somewhere up the coast. I don't know. I don't travel much for work, but nobody else was with me. So I don't know what else it could have been for. Anyhow, so I remember, and it happened to be on the side of the plane that I was. That was pretty freaking cool. That was really pretty cool. And it was, it was big enough you could see it. You could make out what it was. It wasn't like it was just some pinprick down there. But that's pretty neat. But yeah, I've never been to the Kennedy Space Center. I wanted to go to the Kennedy Space Center when I was a little kid, but I never, the space stuff just never took off like the history and stuff. Military history. Back in the early 70s, I could see the Saturn V launches from a clear day over in Tampa. Yeah, the only launch I've ever seen, other than that one I just described over the plane, was the Challenger explosion. As I remember, we were in, 86. I was 15. So yeah, I was in high school, and we stepped outside to see it, and we're like, hey, what's those two things split? I remember it was a cold day. It was a really, really cold day. And but it was clear blue skies, as really cold days in Florida are. They're always clear. I think they're always clear. Another reason I like cold days is I like clear blue skies. Man, it's a sunshine state. It better be sunny. But yeah, nobody knew what that was. I'd never seen a launch before, so I'm wondering, well, I guess that's how those two little things spit, come off it. That's the only launches I've ever seen. Shuttle launches. The Challenger in 86 and whatever shuttle that was in the late 2000s. Must have been towards the end. Wasn't Columbia, because she'd already blown up already. I think that was 2001. So I'm not sure where the hell I was flying. And it wasn't out of Orlando. It had to have been out of South Florida. I don't remember. And I remember nobody was with me. Or I would have said, hey, look, it's the shuttle. And nobody was, who knows. It was cool. You can see launches on Flagler Beach. I bet you can. And there's people lining up to go on that thing. You couldn't pay me any kind of money to go on one of those things. No way. I'm scared of shit. I don't want to shove that much TNT up my ass, you know? That's not my idea of a good time. Just there's some stuff I am just deathly afraid of doing. That would be one of them. I don't like flying as it is. I'll do it, but I don't like it. I flew recently, well, relatively recently, and I actually went a lot better than I expected it to. I just don't like turbulence. I'm just deathly afraid of turbulence. Had a bad experience when I was a kid, really bad, and it was at night too, and it was in a ring of mountains. It was just I don't even want to fly into that damn airport ever again. But it's cool. I'm not one of those people that's like gets sick to their stomach and doesn't look out the window. I'll look out the window the whole time. But it's really freaky. As a matter of fact, when the time that we went to Utah, we had pretty bad turbulence too, going over the Rocky Mountains. When was that? 2016, 2017, 2017, I think. Something like that. Spring break 2017. Lots of people commenting, but only one viewer. Hey, I don't care. All right, I need to get a beverage refill. I'll be right back. I'm not even going to pause it. We'll just keep this rolling. Yeah, I want to keep these horses kind of non-denominational because you start adding like figures that hold them. Well, first of all, the figures would be massive. It's like, why isn't the horse carrying this person around that's carrying the bags? But then you have to have a Western European looking figure, and then you've got to have we use it for the Chinese. That doesn't really work out, so it's I don't really want to create something where there's it's obvious that it's not for one faction as opposed to another. Anyhow, it's almost 8:45. At 9, I think we're going to call it. I do need to get up early, but that means there's a good chance I can get this guy completely done. And then I'll have half the horses done. Yeah, a little bagage. I actually thought I had more horses. I only had 4 of them. So I had exactly the amount of horses that I needed. Well, it would have been nice to use 3. They just didn't fill up the space very much. And they're a lot smaller than the camels. Yeah, let's add a little bit more white. Okay, and the one in the back, let's do it like a buffy color. But not the same buff we got floating around here. The one that's got a little bit more yeller in it. Like this one. Then you're a horse trader. That's right. Enjoy your weekend in St. Pete. We're going to try St. Pete Beach. Yeah, we're going down there for the first weekend there, and we had a chance to go to the beach, and then the girls are going to do a college tour thing because that's coming up soon for them. Well, for the daughter anyways. I'll go back to work and bacheloring it up in the evenings. Wonder which part of it I'm looking forward to more. Just like old times. The 90s. Just like the 90s. Last century. Horse trader. I've been called the south end of a north moving horse. Some of us enjoy being called that. It's better than being called a liar. I'm not a fan of mincing words. But the scenario games we played left me wanting to play more scenario games. So, we actually have, well, one of them's on video, but we actually have another 3 scenario games that we made for one of our shows in 2015. And we just haven't filmed the other 3. But there were a set of all Roman battles. They all involved Rome. None of them were the same ones that that Connor decided to make battles of them. But because they were not all about one conflict. But they were cool. I like the scenarios. And they give you messed up starting positions that you sometimes have to fix. Like, I would never set up that way. Well, guess what? You just finished a powder wagon for my British Marlborough army. Used oxen. Came out nice. For the French, I used a limber towing a howitzer. Getting ready to finish up some Caesarean Romans. Marlborough, that is a time period, Lace Wars, that is not very popular. There's many wargaming periods that are not very popular. That just happens to be one of them. That's a pretty big conflict. If you say, well, nobody plays the, Peruvian Revolution or something like that. Well, it's not something that's huge or well known or something like that. I'm assuming that there is a Peruvian Revolution, but anyhow, it's not particularly well known or anything. But to play, a conflict that involves Louis XIV, yeah, it's not really wargame much, I'm always fascinated by people in the UK that really are into the American Civil War. I'm wondering if there's if there's people here that are really into the English Civil War. Lace Wars, right? Early 1700s Lace Wars. All right, we need let's get this and the happy light. This light came in handy. And it gets hot though. That's in the wrong place. Good book. I have such a hard time reading books. I actually started reading part of a free book, part of a book that I was interested in in it being an Audible, and it's not. And there was just an excerpt of it, from Amazon, whatever. And I was reading it, and usually it's not very captivating, but this one actually was pretty captivating. But I know better than that. Get the actual book, because the problem with me is a couple things. It's too relaxing. It puts me to sleep, and I'm also I'm really anal retentive about not damaging a book as I'm reading it, and the idea of just I just have a problem with the pages. This weekend would be perfect opportunity to bring a book with me, right, to the beach. But I couldn't get it here on time, that book. But who am I fooling? I wouldn't have read it anyways. It's just the time to do it while, I've got a drive where I'm going to be driving by myself for a good bit. I could listen to an audiobook. I've got one I'm listening to right now. The second one in the Byzantine, which is actually a really good book. It's, what's it called? Lost to the West, I think is what it's called. It's actually a pretty good book. It's not a complete covering of the Byzantine. It jumps around with some of the characters, but since I'm familiar with it now after just finishing a Byzantine book, that's how I'm going to get stuff done is through Audible, because otherwise, I can't, I can read it while I'm driving or have it read to me while I'm driving. Once I'm not driving and somewhere else, there's other distractions and so forth. All right, so we're just going to make the hair on this guy black. The mane. And we're going to give this horse some socks to brighten it up some there towards the bottom. Maybe even star on the forehead. You did a good job today. You'll get a gold star. Well, now that I'm halfway done with these horses, I can tell you it was the right move to go ahead and do this, because I've been needing a baggage element, and I've been needing a camp for my Moldavians, for instance. So this can double as a generic camp for folks. You know, find different ways to use things you already have. All right, so we're gonna get some white in here, and here's the color that we used, and that's what we'll use as the bottom color in the socks. And where's the hoof color? It's that one. I think it's that one. This one. Yep. Back and get some pure white in here. All right, what I miss? Maurice seems like a great set. Never played, however. Sam Mustafa's stuff is top notch. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I thought it was really cool. I played it 4 times, I think. Every time I've played it, though, I'm less fascinated by it. I think that a lot of the games would turn out into being the same type of game over and over again. I just think that it's a little too generic for me, if that was my period. It's cool, but I could see many of the games feeling like the same game over and over again. Close out at 9. I'm looking forward to meeting you next weekend. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you too. Baggage element might be called for in a future scenario. You never know. Absolutely. So, yeah. You done with this guy? Yeah. We got 2 horses done. Hey, that's pretty freaking good. Got half of them done. And, the light's just garbage here. This other light only makes it worse. But anyhow, this will be a little baggage element that there's a little 40 by 40 stand. But these horses are really, really tiny. Let me see if I can. I got the camel guys handy. Let's see. Do I have them handy? Yeah. Don't touch the little camel. These guys are significantly bigger. Well, camels are bigger anyways, but. Yeah. So I would have done 3 horses, but these horses are very, very small. So we're going to do 4. And we're going to put them kind of in a little, not like they're walking down the road or anything, but just kind of a hangout. So, but anyhow, thanks for stopping by, folks, and conversating with me. And we will see you guys probably on Tuesday. Not Monday. We should be gaming on Monday. But Tuesday, we'll try to do some painting. And I'm not staying late on Monday because that's going to throw off my entire week. So, but anyhow, until next time, thanks for stopping by, folks, and we'll catch you guys next time.